Hello, my name is Kelly. I have always loved books. Books have been my friends when I was alone, and they have taught me so much. When I was a little girl, I would sit by the window with a book in my hands, lost in the world of stories. One day, when I was 10, I found a book in my mother's room. It was old and dusty, but when I opened it, the words shined like stars. The story was about a girl who was all alone, just like me. She had to handle everything by herself. But as she read more books, she grew stronger, smarter, and braver. Books can do that, you know. They can make you feel like you are not alone. They give you the words when you don't have any. When I was sad or scared, I would read. The characters in the stories became my friends. They would show me how to handle tough situations. I remember one cold winter night. The power went out and I was all alone in the dark. I was scared. But then I remembered a story I had read. In the story, a girl had faced a storm all by herself. She had lit a candle and sat quietly, waiting for the storm to pass. I did the same. I found a candle, lit it, and waited. The darkness didn't seem so scary anymore. Reading that story helped me stay calm and brave. Reading is important because it teaches us how to handle life. It shows us that we can be strong even when we feel weak. It helps us understand the world and the people around us. When you read, you learn new words and ideas. This makes your English better. You can use the words you learn in your own life, just like I did. One of my favorite quotes is, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies." This means that when you read, you experience many lives, many adventures. You learn from the mistakes of others, so you don't have to make them yourself. This is a powerful thing. When I was younger, I didn't have many friends. I felt lonely a lot. But then I found books. They became my friends. They talked to me, told me stories, and kept me company. They never made me feel alone. Reading made me stronger, more confident. It helped me believe in myself. There was a time when I was very sad. I had lost someone I loved very much. I didn't know how to handle the pain. I felt like I was drowning in my tears. But then I picked up a book. It was a story about a girl who had also lost someone. She was sad too, but she found a way to move forward. She showed me that it was okay to cry, but that I also needed to keep going. That story gave me the strength to get through my sadness. Reading also helps us understand other people. When you read, you learn about different lives, different cultures, and different feelings. You start to see the world through the eyes of others. This makes you more kind and understanding. When you read a lot, your brain becomes like a treasure chest, full of words and ideas. You can use these words to talk to others, to write your own stories, or to express your feelings. Reading improves your English because you learn how sentences are formed, how stories are told. You start to see the patterns in the language, and soon you can use them yourself. I remember a time when I had to give a speech in front of my class. I was so scared. My hands were shaking, and I didn't know what to say. But then I remembered a story I had read about a brave girl who spoke up for herself. I thought of her, and I started to speak. The words came easily because I had read so much. Reading had given me the tools I needed to express myself. Books also teach us important lessons. They show us what is right and what is wrong. They help us make good choices in life. When you read, you start to understand the difference between good and bad. This helps you in your own life to make decisions that are right for you. I want to share a small memory with you. When I was 12, I found a book in the library. It was about a girl who wanted to be a writer. She faced many challenges, but she never gave up. I was so inspired by her story that I started writing my own stories. Reading that book changed my life. It gave me the courage to follow my dreams. Reading also helps you when you are alone. Sometimes we don't have anyone to talk to, and that can feel very lonely. But if you have a book, you are never truly alone. The characters in the story keep you company, and they help you forget your loneliness. When you read, you also learn how to solve problems. Stories often show characters facing difficult situations. You can learn from them and use their solutions in your own life. This makes you stronger and more independent. Another important thing about reading is that it helps you escape from reality. Sometimes life can be tough and you need a break. A good book can take you to another world where your problems don't exist. This gives you the strength to come back and face your challenges with a fresh mind. Reading also helps you connect with others. When you read a book, you can share the story with someone else. You can talk about the characters, the plot, and the lessons you learned. This helps you build stronger relationships with others. When I was in high school, I was very shy. I didn't know how to talk to people, but then I found a book club. We would meet every week to talk about the books we were reading. Slowly, I started to open up. I shared my thoughts and listened to others. Reading helped me make friends and become more confident. One of the most beautiful things about reading is that it never stops giving. Every book you read adds something new to your life. It could be a new word, a new idea, or a new perspective. Reading is like a journey that never ends. There is always something more to learn, something more to discover. I remember a time when I felt lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was confused and scared, But then I found a book that changed everything. It was a story about a girl who was also lost. She didn't know what she wanted, but she kept searching. She kept trying new things until she found her path. That story inspired me to keep going, to keep searching for my own path. And I did find it, thanks to that book. Reading is not just about learning. It's about feeling, experiencing, and growing. It's about connecting with the world and with yourself. When you read, you open your heart and mind to new possibilities. You start to see the world in a different way. One of the best tips I can give you is to always carry a book with you. You never know when you will have a few minutes to read. It could be while waiting for a bus, during a lunch break, or before bed. Those few minutes add up, and soon you will have read an entire book. Another tip is to read out loud. This helps you improve your pronunciation and fluency in English. It also makes the story more real, more alive. When you hear the words, they stick in your mind better. Reading is a gift you give to yourself. It's a way to grow, to learn, and to become the best version of yourself. Every time you read, you become a little bit stronger, a little bit wiser. You start to see the world with new eyes. So, if you ever feel lost, lonely, or scared, pick up a book. Let the words guide you, comfort you, and inspire you. Remember, you are never alone when you have a book by your side. And every book you read makes you a better person. Hello, my name is Emily, and I want to talk to you about how to practice English at home. Practicing at home is very important. It is the best way to get better at English. You can do it every day, and you do not need to go anywhere. You just need a little time, a quiet place, and a lot of patience. When I started learning English, I practiced at home. I did not have anyone to help me, so I found ways to teach myself. It was not easy, but I kept going. I knew that if I practiced a little every day, I would improve. And I did. You can do the same. The first thing you need is a plan. Make a simple plan. You do not need to study for hours. Just decide how much time you can spend each day. It could be 15 minutes or 30 minutes. The important thing is to do it every day. When I was young, I would sit in my room with a book. I read out loud. At first, it was hard. I made many mistakes, but I did not give up. I kept reading, and soon it got easier. You can do this too. Find a book you like and read it out loud. It will help you with pronunciation and fluency. Practice makes perfect. This is a saying I love. It is true. The more you practice, the better you will get. It is like learning to ride a bike. At first, it is hard. You might fall, but you get back up and try again. Soon, you are riding without any help. English is the same. Keep practicing, and you will get better. You can also practice by listening to English. Find a song, a podcast, or a video. Listen carefully. Try to understand the words. Then, repeat what you hear. This is a fun way to practice. When I was learning, I listened to songs. I would sing along. It was hard to understand at first, but with time, it got easier. I enjoyed it, and it helped me a lot. Another way to practice is to write. Writing helps you think in English. Start with simple sentences. Write about your day, your feelings, or your plans. Do not worry about mistakes. Just write. The more you write, the better you will get. When I started, I kept a diary. I wrote in it every day. It helped me learn new words and express my thoughts. Speaking is also very important. If you have no one to talk to yourself. It may feel strange, but it works. Look in the mirror and talk about your day. Pretend you are talking to a friend. This will help you get used to speaking English. I did this when I was alone. I would talk about my plans, my dreams, or anything that came to my mind. It made me more confident. Small steps lead to big changes, remember this. You do not have to learn everything at once. Take small steps. Focus on one thing at a time. Maybe today you practice listening. Tomorrow you practice speaking. Little by little, you will improve. When I was learning, I took it one day at a time. I did not rush. I knew that with time I would get better. Another tip is to watch movies in English. Start with subtitles. Choose a movie you like and watch it in English. This will help you learn new words and phrases. When I started, I watched my favorite movies in English. I would repeat the lines and try to say them like the actors. It was fun, and I learned a lot. You can also practice by playing games in English. There are many language learning games online. These games make learning fun. When I was learning, I played word games. They helped me learn new words in a fun way. Remember to take breaks. Do not push yourself too hard. Learning English should be enjoyable, not stressful. Take time to relax. If you feel tired, take a break and come back later. I learned that it is okay to rest. It helps you stay motivated. Every mistake is a lesson. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. They are a part of learning. When you make a mistake, do not get upset. Learn from it and try again. I made many mistakes when I was learning, but I learned from each one. They helped me get better. You can also practice by labeling things in your house. Write the English word on a small piece of paper and stick it on the object. For example, write door and stick it on the door. This will help you learn new words. When I was learning, I did this. It helped me remember the names of things. Another great way to practice is to think in English. When you are alone, try to think in English. For example, if you see a tree, think tree instead of your native language word. This will help you get used to English. I did this when I was learning. It was hard at first, but with practice, it became easier. Reading is also very important. Find books that are easy to read. Start with simple stories. As you get better, read more difficult books. When I was learning, I read children's books. They were easy and fun. They helped me learn new words. Consistency is key. This means that you should practice every day, even if it is just for a few minutes. The more consistent you are, the faster you will improve. When I was learning, I practiced every day. It became a habit, and soon, I started to see improvement. You can also practice by talking to yourself in English. Describe what you are doing. For example, if you are cooking, say, "I am cutting vegetables." This will help you think in English. I did this when I was alone. It helped me get used to speaking in English. Another tip is to use English in your daily life. For example, when you go shopping, try to think of the English words for the things you are buying. When I was learning, I would go to the market and try to name everything in English. It was a fun way to practice. Do not be afraid to speak English with others. If you have friends who speak English, practice with them. If you do not, find someone online. There are many language exchange programs where you can find a partner to practice with. When I was learning, I found a friend who spoke English. We would meet once a week and practice together. Learning is a journey, not a destination. Remember that learning English takes time. Do not rush. Enjoy the process. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. When I was learning, I celebrated every little achievement. It kept me motivated. You can also practice by listening to English news. This will help you get used to different accents and new words. When I was learning, I listened to the news every morning. It was hard at first, but with time it got easier. I learned many new words and phrases. Another tip is to set goals. Make a list of things you want to achieve. For example, learn 10 new words a week or read 1 book a month. When I was learning, I set small goals. It gave me something to work towards. When I achieved a goal, I felt proud. Remember to be patient. Learning a language takes time. Do not get frustrated if you do not see progress right away. Keep going, and you will get there. I had moments when I felt like giving up, but I reminded myself to be patient. With time, I saw improvement. You can also practice by using apps. There are many language learning apps available. They are a fun way to practice. When I was learning, I used an app to learn new words. It was easy and convenient. I could practice anytime, anywhere. Never stop learning. This is important. Even when you feel like you have learned enough, keep going. There is always something new to learn. When I was learning, I kept pushing myself. I knew that there was always room for improvement. Another way to practice is to join an English club. If there is one in your area, join it. If not, you can join one online. Being part of a group will motivate you to keep practicing. When I was learning, I joined a club. We met once a week, and it was a great way to practice. Remember to stay positive. Learning a language can be challenging, but it is also rewarding. Do not focus on the difficulties. Focus on the progress you are making. When I was learning, I stayed positive. I knew that with time and practice, I would improve. You can also practice by writing emails in English. Write to a friend or even to yourself. This will help you practice writing and thinking in English. When I was learning, I wrote emails to myself. It was a fun way to practice. Another tip is to practice speaking in different situations. For example, pretend you are in a restaurant and order food in English. This will help you get used to speaking in different contexts. When I was learning, I did this. It helped me feel more confident. Remember that it is okay to ask for help. If you do not understand something, ask someone. There are many people who are willing to help. When I was learning, I asked for help when I needed it. It made a big difference. Believe in yourself. This is the most important tip. Believe that you can do it. Learning English is not impossible. It just takes time and practice. When I was learning, I believed in myself. I knew that if I kept going, I would succeed. You can also practice by keeping a vocabulary notebook. Write down new words and their meanings. Review them regularly. When I was learning, I kept a notebook. It helped me remember new words. Another way to practice is to use flashcards. Write a word on one side and its meaning on the other. Test yourself regularly. When I was learning, I used flashcards. They were a great way to memorize new words. Remember to take care of yourself. Get enough rest, eat well, and stay active. A healthy body helps a healthy mind. When I was learning, I made sure to take care of myself. It helped me stay focused and motivated. You can also practice by doing puzzles in English. For example, crossword puzzles or word searches. These are fun ways to learn new words. When I was learning, I did puzzles in English. They helped me learn new words in a fun way. Another tip is to use English in your hobbies. For example, if you like cooking, find recipes in English. If you like music, listen to English songs. When I was learning, I used English in my hobbies. It made learning more enjoyable. Stay curious, always be curious about learning. Ask questions, explore new things, and never stop being curious. When I was learning, I stayed curious. I wanted to learn as much as I could. This curiosity kept me motivated. You can also practice by talking about your day in English. Before you go to bed, review your day in English. This will help you practice speaking and thinking in English. When I was learning, I did this every night. It helped me get used to thinking in English. Another way to practice is to use English in your daily routine. For example, when you brush your teeth, think about the steps in English. When I was learning, I used English in my daily routine. It helped me get used to the language. Remember to stay motivated. Find something that inspires you to keep going. It could be a quote, a picture, or a memory. When I was learning, I found inspiration in quotes. They reminded me to keep going, even when it was hard. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. This is one of my favorite quotes. It reminds me that every little effort counts. When I was learning, I repeated small efforts every day. They added up, and I saw progress. You can also practice by listening to English audiobooks. This is a great way to improve your listening skills. When I was learning, I listened to audiobooks. They helped me get used to the rhythm of English. Another tip is to find a study partner. Having someone to study with can make learning more fun. When I was learning, I found a study partner. We practiced together, and it made learning more enjoyable. Remember that it is okay to take breaks. If you feel tired, take a break and come back later. Learning should be enjoyable, not stressful. When I was learning, I took breaks when I needed them. It helped me stay motivated. You can also practice by watching videos in English. Find videos on topics you are interested in. This will make learning more enjoyable. When I was learning, I watched videos on cooking, music, and travel. It was a fun way to practice. Another way to practice is to use English in your social media. For example, post in English, comment in English, or join English speaking groups. When I was learning, I used English in my social media. It helped me practice in a real-life context. Remember to celebrate your progress. Every step forward is a success. When I was learning, I celebrated my progress. It kept me motivated and excited to keep going. You can also practice by setting challenges for yourself. For example, challenge yourself to speak only English for 1 hour a day. When I was learning, I set challenges for myself. They pushed me to do better. Another tip is to read out loud. This will help you with pronunciation and fluency. When I was learning, I read out loud every day. It helped me get used to the sound of English. Remember to be kind to yourself. Learning a language is not easy, and it is okay to make mistakes. When I was learning, I was kind to myself. I did not get upset when I made mistakes. I knew they were a part of learning. Keep going, and you will get there. This is what I always told myself. I knew that if I kept practicing, I would improve. And I did. You can do the same. Keep going and you will get there. You can also practice by writing stories in English. This is a fun way to use your imagination and practice writing. When I was learning, I wrote stories. It helped me practice using new words and phrases. Another way to practice is to use English in your work or studies. For example, if you are writing a report, try to write it in English. When I was learning, I used English in my studies. It helped me get used to writing in English. Remember that practice is the key to success. The more you practice, the better you will get. When I was learning, I practiced every day. It became a habit, and soon, I started to see improvement. You can also practice by talking to yourself in English. Describe what you are doing, what you are thinking, or what you are feeling. When I was learning, I did this every day. It helped me get used to speaking in English. Another tip is to use English in your free time. For example, if you like to read, find books in English. If you like to watch movies, watch them in English. When I was learning, I used English in my free time. It made learning more enjoyable. Remember to be patient with yourself. Learning a language takes time. Do not rush. Take it one day at a time. When I was learning, I was patient with myself. I knew that with time and practice, I would improve. You can also practice by using English in your everyday life. For example, when you go shopping, try to think of the English words for the things you are buying. When I was learning, I did this every time I went shopping. It was a fun way to practice. Another way to practice is to use English in your conversations. For example, If you're talking to someone who speaks English, try to use English. When I was learning, I practiced English with my friends. It helped me get used to speaking in English. I remember to stay positive. Learning a language can be challenging, but it is also rewarding. Do not focus on the difficulties. Focus on the progress you are making. When I was learning, I stayed positive. I knew that with time and practice, I would improve. You can also practice by setting goals for yourself. For example, learn 10 new words a week or read 1 book a month. When I was learning, I set small goals. It gave me something to work towards. Another tip is to practice speaking in different situations. For example, pretend you are in a restaurant and order food in English. This will help you get used to speaking in different contexts. When I was learning, I did this. It helped me feel more confident. Remember that it is okay to ask for help. If you do not understand something, ask someone. There are many people who are willing to help. When I was learning, I asked for help when I needed it. It made a big difference. Believe in yourself. This is the most important tip. Believe that you can do it. Learning English is not impossible. It just takes time and practice. When I was learning, I believed in myself. I knew that if I kept going, I would succeed.